I always gotta look to the side. You see, you thought I was gonna begin, but I wasn't going to because I always be looking to the side, but you don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at anything. Look, look. What do you think I'm looking at right now? The wall? No. Yeah, I'm looking at the wall. Look. What's poppin', homies? And welcome to Stav's True Plan, the podcast where the black backdrop, everything looks more contrasted. Everything looks so good. Be for real. How good do I look right now on a scale of 100 to 100? Thank you. You're so sweet. Well, guys, it's been a long time coming. I'm sorry for being gone for such a long time. I've been going through a lot in my personal life, and a lot of people who are really close to me have been too. So I suppose I'll just jump right into what this episode is about. Now, a precursor. I actually was trying to record an episode titled, well, I can't tell you the title yet because it'll spoil. I was basically trying to record an episode trying to update my fans on what's been happening with me and why have I been so, how can I say, not distant, but not active. And I was trying to do an episode trying to explain what has been going on with me, and it went very poorly because something has basically happened within me recently. For those of you who doesn't know, I have ADHD and have been being treated for it for about 2 weeks. I'm taking a medication called Strattera. Strattera is supposed to help people with ADHD. And as a person with ADHD and have been taking Strattera for 2 weeks, which is about the amount of time it takes for it to start, I had a very weird experience that has been making me feel like I shouldn't be taking it, or Strattera is bad for me, or just just 18 million different things that have been on my mind. Which I'll say it does work. Strattera does work. But the thing with Strattera is I felt something weird that for me, I don't know if this is like, I don't know like other people's like how they deal with ADHD, but for me, I've always had something going on in my mind. There's always an inner dialogue. There's no silence. And when I took Strattera just yesterday, after taking it for nearly 2 weeks, for about 2 weeks actually, I was listening. Actually, I had a Michael Jackson song stuck in my head. Checking the audio, making sure it's good. I had a Michael Jackson song stuck in my head, and it was replaying the same 3 seconds of that song that I loved because I love hearing it. And out of nowhere, it stopped. And when I tried to bring it back to listen to it in my mind, my brain quieted it down on purpose. So that was jarring because it was abrupt. It wasn't like a little ease into it. It was abrupt. And my thoughts were weird and my thoughts were empty. And now coming to today, right? I tried to record an episode, and for some reason I found myself blanking out. I found myself not able to speak like how I know I can, which that was so bizarre for me because I'm a talker, right? I'm a talker. When I was younger, I had a desk separate from the kids because I would always keep talking with them and distract them. That's basically what I did. I was a distractor, apparently, when I was young. And so I am now. This is Aldi, actually. Shout out to Aldi. So that was really jarring and really odd for me. And not only to mention that weeks prior, having spoken with psychiatrist, psychologist, with my therapist, and saying, coming to the conclusion that I have ADHD, I knew this for a long time, that there was something wrong with me because my focus was it was unintentionally selective. And a lot of my schoolwork has suffered because of that. A lot of my readings were hard to do, and they always have been, even in my interests. But when I was younger, that wasn't the case. No. But I'd like to think that what makes a person with ADHD, what makes it more difficult is a lot of responsibility and not knowing where to divert your attention to, which leads me into, I guess, the topic of this video. I was talking with my girlfriend about this, actually. My girlfriend, I love her so much. She goes through something every day. It's such a terrible thing, and I see it affects her. My plan is to talk about what I'm going through here, and then sort of interview her in another episode. Basically, well, the title of this episode is called, I guess I have to find a more streamlined title, but the topic is a change of mindset when going through an illness or a physical ailment, or when going through a mental or a physical or a health condition, your mindset change, and what does that mean for you, and I guess how important a change of mindset is when something like that you're going through. Oh, and I guess, she is she tries so hard. Basically, she has myasthenia gravis. I think it's a what's the word I'm looking for? An autoimmune disorder that affects muscles and their. I think I did a little bit of research. I don't know exactly the process. She'll obviously go in depth, but it affects like your neuron synapses leading to your muscles. So it definitely affects your general muscular weakness, and it affects her so dearly. Will be I guess now her mindset is a lot better than it was before, and I will argue that I feel the same way with what I've been through too. I'm gonna not talk about her too much because I want her to take the floor. I want her to offer her insight, because I think it'd be really beneficial. So I will say that there will be a part 2 to this episode, but in my life for example, in my life there has been no short of I guess health conditions and like illnesses that I have, not necessarily illnesses, but things that I've gone through that I guess have changed my mindset for the better. But I will argue that a lot of people don't really get that satisfaction. For those of you who may know, I don't know, I believe I've spoken about this before. I mean, I've spoken about this many times, but I'll go into depth again. Basically, the biggest issue that health issue in my life I've experienced so far is that a condition with my legs that I was born with. Basically, I was born with legs like this, kind of like a duck's. It was a deformity in my bones. I guess my bones grew twisted, so giving me the feeling as if a normal person who twists their legs out, like the pain that you get from that, I get from that, but my bones are stuck that way, and you could just turn them forward. And this affected me greatly, especially being confused and not knowing what was going wrong with me. When I was younger, I did a field trip for ice skating. And you can imagine ice skating, right? You kind of got to be straight a little. Or at least I thought. I don't know ice skating semantics. You know what I mean? I'm not an ice skater, clearly. But with my legs being like this, I found it really hard to ice skate, and I fell on my knees over and over and over. And it hurt so bad, and at the end I had beet red or bloody knees. I don't remember what I had, but my knees were injured from me falling, checking the recording, and falling over and over and over again. A similar thing happened when I went roller skating with, you know, the ones with the four wheels, like a truck, like not like the one, not roller blading, roller skating. When I did that, I couldn't do it because my legs were literally like this. So imagine trying roller skating like that. It was really hard for me. I really was deep into sports. I love sports. I mean, as much as I could, I love soccer. It is, as being Greek, it's in my blood. I love soccer. But I tried as hard as I could. I remember I only was able to be in a goalie position or defense because I couldn't run really fast because, well, think about running like this. And not to mention the pain that I felt after practices, games. My knees would be so sore, my leg, everything. All my legs were sore. Throughout my whole life, walking long walks were really difficult even. I remember when I went to Niagara Falls and we were walking and I couldn't take an Advil. I gagged on an Advil. For those of you who are pill takers, pill poppers, Advil goes smooth down the throat, and I couldn't take a fucking Advil. So it made the trip terrible. It made it so painful. Fast forward a few years later. I'm in high school, right? And I've played, and I got into JV soccer, right? There is this old guy. I forget his name. I think it's Bernie. He was an old Scottish, like he was the coach, one of the head coaches, and he was such a fucking, he passed away, God bless him, or I don't know who is their Scottish gods, I don't know. He would tell me, why don't you just turn him in, turn your legs in. I'm not gonna do the accent, but he had a thick accent, hunchback. He kind of looked like a Beetlejuice looking motherfucker. Rest his soul. And I remember looking at him like, the fuck are you even talking about? Shortly after that, I thought the pain was enough. I was getting older, heavier. My weight was becoming an issue. It didn't make it any easier. So I told my mom, well, Mom, I think it's time for us to get this checked out. And throughout my childhood years, we did. People thought I had feet problems. I was going to get custom arches that were going to cost like $400. Like arch support, like custom arch support. I had people telling me that, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. All that stuff. When I get to a major hospital, this surgeon who I would inevitably have to be really close with for years because of the issue that I had. They took x-rays, they took one look at me and said, you have a severe deformity and you came to us at the right time because your growth plates are closed, which means we can actually operate on you. I said yes to the surgery without any thought. I did not even care. I said yes. Little did I know this was an experimental surgery. Exploratory. And what they were going to do was they were going to take my femur and tibia. I remember the name. Femoral and tibial derotational osteotomy. They were going to derotate my legs by cutting my femur and my tibia. And you know what? Right here, I'm going to put a picture of the plate that I have in my body. Or at least used to have in my body. I'll talk about that later. When I first got this surgery, the first surgery, I remember being in so much pain, but it was so long ago that the first one, it was hard. And the physical therapy for it was difficult. Like imagine my left leg is the one I got done first. My left leg was completely numb. I was bedridden. Imagine you got my whole tibia and my whole femur were cut in half. I had to wear a boot. I had to go places with my legs suspended in the air, using a walker. I couldn't use crutches. I had to use a walker. I couldn't go to the bathroom without help. So there was a couple times in the middle of the night where I needed to go to the bathroom, but I didn't want to wake my family up because it was too early, and I didn't, just checking the recording. I didn't want to wake them up, so imagine this is like the bed and this is me, right? So I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, so I would take my leg out and kind of go down. So my leg was out and I pushed all the way to the bathroom, and it was a long ways away. And of course I didn't do that immediately post-op because I was high as shit on drugs they gave me. So that's the things that I would have to do. I hated asking for help. I hated it so much. And the medicine they gave me made me feel like shit. That was my first surgery that they cut my bone. After I had started to get able to put weight on it, I had physical therapy for over a year after that. Over a year has passed and I'm less than halfway done, right? So I had to learn how to walk all over again. This was in high school. This is throughout my high school years because freshman year is when I tried JV soccer. For a long time until I was ready, I was walking like no bullshit. I guess in your perspective, my left foot was like that. They custom made my rotation to make it, instead of like this, they custom made it. So they had my left leg like this still, because I had to make sure this was strong enough to support my whole body, because they were going to operate on this next. So time passes and I get where I think I'm supposed to be, right? So the physical therapy discharges me and I'm ready. So I get that surgery, and this time fucking sucked. This was the worst. This was the worst I had ever had it. The reason why is because my left leg that I'd had done prior to my right leg wasn't completely healed. Even after a year, I hadn't regained strength. I hadn't regained enough strength. So after that, I couldn't. So I get discharged, and I have to stay one night. Obviously, I have to make sure the PT people there have to guarantee that I can go up and down stairs, right? So that was not fun. I had to do scooting. I had to scoot downstairs, and it was very difficult for me because my leg was weak. So I get into the car, and imagine we're going on the highway, and I'm in the back of the car sitting like this, basically, like that. Hold on, like this. So I'm sitting up, and we finally get home, and it's my mom, my grandma, and me. And I'm trying to get into the house, and my left leg was so weak that I couldn't do a one-legged squat to get up the stairs. And my mom and my grandma were too weak to help me. So I had to sit down on the steps coming into my own home. And sometimes I think life is a comedy because it started to rain while my mom called the fire patrol or whatever, the fire department, to come help me into the home. You can imagine what this does to a person who's supposedly be in the most nimble stage of his life. I'm in high school, and I'm not being able to perform as well as the other kids in just life, walking, normal people fucking things. So imagine that I go through another year of physical therapy, and both of my legs are like this. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to work hard. So I'm going to the gym diligently. I'm working very hard I was very, very, very good. I was very diligent. And I got to my personal record of 500 pounds on the leg press. Now imagine having to wait for me to get my, what's it called? To get clearance to finally go to the gym was longer than after physical therapy took. So I learned how to walk twice. After all is said and done, and I did that, I'm starting to get pain in my thighs. It's because the plate is about this thick jutting from my bone, and it's rubbing against scar tissue. So I had to halt my gym. I was doing it very good for a long time. I don't remember how long. I had to stop my gym journey in its tracks to get one plate out, and then after that healed, get another plate out. Not to mention, in between that time, I had dislocated my shoulder before the plates were taken out, right? So let's just say I've been through this, right? I've been through so much shit. And I feel as if I've lost my way. Because no matter what, through all that I've been through, I always kept a smile on my face. I was always so strong. Now, fast forward to today, where I get diagnosed with something that I've had my whole life, and my life is being thrown into ruins. My mindset when it comes to ADHD versus literal life-changing procedure makes no fucking sense. I've had this my whole life. I was so diligent with my meal plans. I was so diligent with my workouts because I thought that was it. Right? This is not a newfound discovery in my body, but it's interesting how the body works. And I guess this is what I have to say, is that it's always hard to change your mindset, but it just takes a little bit of active thought. Because having gone through this and going through ADHD, it doesn't quite compare. My leg surgeries were worse. I'm sorry, I clipped the microphone. They were worse. See, I have to go to the side so I don't make it go like this. It was worse. It's easy to overreact. It's easy to just wallow in the deepest pit of pity. But I'm living proof. I'm living proof that you can change your mindset. You are more than what you're going through. You are more than this. There is so much that makes you as a person. And I'm going to talk to you right now. I'm talking to my girlfriend, my baby girl. Hey, listen to me. I know how you're feeling, and I know what you're going through. Maybe not exactly. There is so much more that defines who you are than your illness. There's so much that makes the beautiful, caring person that you are, the most kind-hearted soul that I know. This illness it's not going to go away. It won't go away. Even after all my leg surgeries, I still feel pain. Not to mention all of the mental pain I feel from all of everything I went through. I will say to you this, my baby. You can change how you look at what you're going through. Realize you can't control it, but do everything you can to change your mindset and to change how you look at it, because it's here to stay. It's hard to make friends with someone who you hate, but you're all you got. Never forget, and now I'm talking to everybody, never forget that there is more to you than your illness. There is more to you than a check mark saying you have this. It's not, hi, I'm blank and I have blank. It's, hi, I'm blank that just so happens to have blank. You have every bit of power within you to overcome anything. And I will say, going through something like a detrimental illness, or what I went through, for example, or what my girlfriend goes through, you get a new perspective on the world, and you get that there's more to it than what people are leading to believe, or what people are leading to understand. There's more. And my girlfriend and I are happy. We have our moments. We're human beings. But we're happy because we know the preciousness of a simple thing that people who don't go through something won't feel. So what can you do? How can you change your mindset when encountering a seemingly inescapable, looming threat in your body that you're supposed to be comfortable in? Try your best to make peace. It's not going to go away. Make your peace and fight, and make that fight a part of your day. That has been part 1 of this episode. Stay tuned for part 2, where I talk with my girlfriend about her experience to get another set of eyes and ears on this problem. That has been an episode of Stav's True Plan. See you later. Kisses.